There we go. Hello, everybody. This is Joshua checking in with you guys again with Baller-To-Bogey blog. And today I have with me, don't look at the name, it says Annalise, but it is Richard Joyce by way of Mount Airy High School via the Oak Hill Academy and then also the Wake Forest University. I'll let Richard go in and just introduce himself. So Richard, your career didn't actually stop at Wake Forest. You played professionally as well, right?
Yes, I played overseas for a year after leaving Wake, and I figured out that the basketball was going to stop bouncing at some point, so stopped playing and focused on academics again. I went to UNC Charlotte. I went to the Lee College of Engineering and got a construction management degree from UNCC, and now has ventured to St. Louis via finance, and I'm working at Wells Fargo Advisors now.
Okay. So Richard, when did you start actually playing golf?
Great question. A lot of people don't know this about me, but golf was actually my true passion growing up. I grew up in Mount Airy, as you mentioned, at a small town, and my parents were members at Cross Creek Country Club, and we lived on the course. So every day I was out in the backyard hitting balls, making my dad mad because I was digging divots in the backyard. And my dad's oldest brother, Ronnie, was an advocate for golf and loved the game of golf as my dad, and those two guys really introduced me to the game when I was 4 or 5 years old, and I've been in love with it ever since.
So with you saying that golf was kind of like your first love, do you feel like you were good enough to play at the high school level and potentially college, or you just at some point in time basketball kind of took over that spot in your heart?
That's a great question. I guess we'll never know what golf could have been because I didn't put much into it because my basketball career was taking off when I was, 10, 11, 12 years old with the Surrey Stars. And, every summer, AAU basketball, as you know, being a hoopster, what that is, every weekend you're gone somewhere. And I was fortunate enough to commit to Wake Forest at a really young age. And so once I got that, I was like, well, now I can just play golf. So I would tell my dad, I was like, hey, I just want to hang out at the course and play golf every day. And my dad would be like, all right, that's fine, but let's play this one tournament. And that one tournament turned into the next weekend and the next weekend. So I really never got to focus on golf as much as I would like. But that changed when I got to Wake. A couple buddies of mine that play on tour now got me back into the game of golf, and I haven't looked back since. I guess that's what happened to my basketball career in college. I was too busy trying to play golf and do other things.
Okay. So do you have, you actually said that you're a member of a country club. Do you want to share what the name of that club is?
Yeah. My wife and I joined Old Warson Country Club here in St. Louis, Missouri. Remarkable club, great people. That I guess they give back to the game of golf every year or every so often, hosting some kind of tournament. I think we had the U.S. Senior Amateur here. I know that we hosted the 1971 Ryder Cup. And I know there's more in between those two things. I'm not familiar. We just joined a little over a year ago, so I'm learning the ropes still.
Okay. So have you been able to register an official handicap?
I do have an official handicap with the USGA. My index is a 2.9, I believe, right now. So I guess my course handicap's a 3 or a 4 at my club.
So you're usually shooting in the 70s, or the high 70s.
Yeah, my goal is to shoot anywhere from even par to about 77 is my range that I'd like to be in.
Okay.
Some days are better than others. I have a few outliers where I've shot an 80 or two. So I try
80
to
would
eliminate
be
those.
my dream day on the course. I'll definitely say that.
Say what?
I said an 80 would be my dream day on the course if I ever shot that. I don't think the world would stop hearing about it.
You'll be there before you know it. It's just like basketball. It's just all repetition. It's like shooting free throws. Find you a good rhythm. You stick to that routine, and your golf swing will be the same.
So, with you talking about the game at a young age, did you ever have like lessons with an instructor, or was it just family just showing you the road as far as that goes?
Great question. Really, it was my dad just taking me out to play. And I had a couple lessons as a kid. I'd do like golf clinics and stuff at Cross Creek Country Club. But really, it's a lot my dad and my uncle and being self-taught. And I got to Wake, and I got to I became friends with Bill Haas and Webb Simpson, who Webb is playing unbelievable right now. Bill Haas has had a remarkable golf career, and I know that he still has some fire in his belly and will be back on top sooner rather than later. But when I got to Wake, they told me, you don't have to have the perfect golf swing. Just perfect your swing and figure out what your club is doing, and go hit it hard, go find it, hit it again, and try to get it in the hole in the least amount of strokes. So that's kind of the way I play. I try to hit it far as I can and figure out how to get it on the green and two-putt it.
Great. So speaking of hitting it as far as
brother, have a blessed one.
question I like to ask folks is, what's in the bag? So what irons and what clubs is Richard Joyce playing today?
I'm playing Titleist. I'm Titleist through and through. I'm loyal to the brand. They've been good to me. They've been good to my buddies that play on tour. So if it's good enough for them, it's really good enough for me. So I have the new Titleist. I'm hitting the Titleist T100s, and then I have the Vokey wedges. I carry 3 wedges. I'm trying to think. I got a 50-degree, 54, and 58-degree wedge is what I carry, and then I have a 5-through pitching wedge, and then I carry a couple hybrids, a 3-wood and a driver, and a Scotty Cameron putter.
Okay.
That's the money maker. The old putter is the money maker. I've been working on my putter.
Money bag right there.
A lot.
Cool. So during your time when you played overseas, what country was it that you played in?
I played in Ireland. I played basketball in Ireland. I lived in Cork.
To golf, I guess you can say itself. Were you actually able to ever get out and play when you were over there for basketball?
I did. I was fortunate enough that the folks that managed my team and owned my team were into golf as well. And, they took me out a couple times. I went over to Old Head. I believe it's Old Head. I think that's the name. It's a swanky club down in the southern peninsula of Ireland. And cool spot. Great golf there. I know some of the best golf courses in the world are throughout that area. So yeah, it was fun.
Okay. All right. So for everybody that doesn't know, I usually challenge folks with a question, and it's about what club they would hit. So I'm going to switch my screen over, and this here is the 15th at Carolina National. It is a 203-yard par 3, and as you can see, there is plenty of water back there in the intercoastal area. But if you're also looking between the tee box and the green during high tide, that area is also known to fill up with water. So, Richard, you're on the tee box, 203 yards from the center of the green. What club are you hitting and why?
Great question. I'm either going to hit a 5-iron or 6-iron into that green, depending on what the wind's doing and more or less how am I hitting the ball that day. If I'm hitting it pretty well, and I feel like I can hit one in the screws. I'll probably hit a 6-iron, but either a 5-iron or 6-iron. It's going to roll out a little bit. I see there's a little landing area there, which if I hit it a little short, hopefully I get a good bounce, kick it up on the green. But yeah, it's going to be one of those two for sure.
Okay, excellent. So last question before we close out, what is the most difficult golf course that you have had the opportunity to play?
Can I mention two? Is two okay? So I played Tiger's course down in the Albany, Bahamas. I think it's called the Albany Golf Club, or is in the Albany is the way I know it. Okay. Super difficult. It gave me everything that I wanted. It was long, had a lot of breeze off the ocean, and if you didn't hit it in the fairway, you were in I forgot what they call those bunkers. I guess waste bunkers on the side, just from being, at the beach. And then Belle Reve Country Club here in St. Louis was a challenge, and even my course for that matter is a tough course. But I played Belle Reve right before the PGA Championship here in 2018, and man, playing it back on the tips with the course set up, really challenging.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. So you mentioned that earlier that you grew up on the Cross Creek Country Club golf course, and that's actually a course that I did one of my reviews on. What is the best score that you can remember that you've ever scored on that course?
That is a really great question, Josh. I honestly, I wish I could answer that with a specific number, but I don't remember. But I want to say somewhere around 75, 76 when I was a kid, probably around 15, 16 years old.
Is there a favorite hole there that you remember? If I'm trying to remember correctly, is your parents' house, is it 14?
15.
15. Okay, that's kind of on the back side of it.
Yep, we were on the back 9 there. And my favorite hole, I really like 1. 1 is a great hole. It's an easy par 5 if you hit it in play, and it's reachable in 2. And I remember hitting it up to the second creek as a kid and trying to hit either a 5-wood onto the green or close to it. So I really like that hole. I think that hole is a great hole to score well on. And obviously, I got to give love to hole 15. I played that so many times that I can't remember. I'd walk out there with my dad. Yeah, my dad and I would go out there in the afternoons and play for a pop. And yeah, it was fun. That's some of my best memories, going out there with my dad playing. We'd play 15 and then walk back, and sometimes we would slip down. There's 11 runs itself back up towards our house, and we'd play 11. So yeah. Okay,
sounds good.
Have you played Cross Creek?
Yes, I've had the opportunity to play 2 or 3 times, and the holes that I definitely remember, like you said, number 1 being the par 5, just getting over the creek there. But there's on the backside, I believe it's 14, which is the par 3. Coming up the hill, the par 3 is looking there. That hole I seem to do very well on. And then 16 is the par 4, which is right by the tennis courts and the swimming pool. So hit it out. The last time I played, I want to say I at least got 22-30 off the drive, and then I had to hit over the water to get onto the green.
Oh yeah.
I was super nervous about that. I was like, man, I'm about to be on the green in 2, and it was probably 150 out, and lo and behold, with my golf skills, I ended up topping it into the water. So I had to take that drop penalty, and I think I ended up finishing with a double bogey. But Yeah, I had the opportunity to play a couple of times, and the last time I played was right there, was right at around March, and I want to say I finished the 90s. Like I said, if I ever shot at 80, I'm shouting from the rooftop. But my game's pretty good for having a down on some holes, and just like I said, top one into the water, got to take a drop, get
Yeah.
it up there, and then end up three putting, if anything. So yeah.
That's where you score is with your putter. It's like a free throw. Your putter is a free throw in basketball. You got to be able to get those.
Yeah, I
Going.
definitely agree with that. And I would say at this part, in basketball, the rim's always going to be 10 feet, no matter where you go. But different courses that you play, you could have slow greens, fast greens, greens that have just been punched, and
Right.
able to calibrate that all, for an entire 18 holes, to me is really, really difficult. And I know, again, all you can do is practice and try to perfect your swing motion, but then also your touch. But for me, I end up either running right past the hole, or I barely tap the ball and it only goes a couple of feet. It ends up putting it right there again for a longer putt to get it into the hole.
I like that you're running it by the hole. That means you're trying to make it. I was taught that if you don't get it to the hole, you're not trying to make it. So
one of the videos that I watched, it talked about having an imaginary 2-foot ring around the hole and just putting to get within that ring, and then your next you'll put in. So that's kind of been the philosophy that I've been trying for. It's like, okay, I know that me sinking this putt is, I want to say unrealistic, but not likely. So here, let me hit it to try to get it within that 2-foot radius of the hole, and then, just doing a safe finish right there. So
that is a great way to practice putting, especially your longer putts. That's great. Once you get that, you can just kind of hone it, keep making that 2-foot circle, get it smaller and smaller until you've got these 15, 20 footers where you're just making it like your jump shot back in the day.
I'd rather dunk the ball.
I know you do. God, I remember coming back to Mount Airy. I don't know if I was at Oak Hill or back at Wake, but I came back and we had open gym at the high school when you were in there dunking everything.
That's all.
God, that was fun watching you play.
That's all I wanted to do back then. So I had
That's fun. Boy,
Yeah.
them days are long gone for me. No more dunking.
Same boat. If I lose this 40 or 50 pounds that I'm trying to get off, maybe I'll be able to get back up there again.
I'm with you. Well, I'll live vicariously through your dunking.
Well, don't hold your breath, because we both might end up fighting the dust. All right, Richard. Thank you again for taking the time to talk to us about your game and the transition from basketball to golf, and we appreciate it. And for everybody else that's tuning in, thank you guys for watching. And we'll try to keep these blogs going as much as possible. And if there's nothing else, I'll say so long, everybody. And Rich, again, thank you very much for joining us.
Man, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. It's good to catch up with you. I'm glad you're doing well, man.
Thanks. And the same to you, man.
See you, bud.
See ya.